All right, let's talk about what's been considered to be concentration camps, gay concentration camps in Chechnya. This is a report coming from NBC News, reported by Mary O'Hara. I actually covered it on my show 2 weeks ago. There was a demonstration, LGBT rights demonstration, and in that demonstration, over 100 men, gay men, were detained, and about 3 were reported having been killed. Though of those 100 men that were detained, there are reports that are coming out that they are being tortured in secret detention centers. There have at least 30 different messages from since April 2nd of people who have either escaped or have witnessed the torture, the type of treatment that they're getting, and some as many as 20 have been reported as being killed. The situation in Chechnya with regard to gay and lesbian members of their community is like this. They don't even acknowledge that gay people exist in Chechnya. And, so they say, how can this happen to gay people in Chechnya when there are no gay people in Chechnya?
It's like when President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, the Iranian former president, spoke to Columbia University, and he says that we don't have gays in our country.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and to use that as a position as to why this atrocity couldn't be happening, to me, is evidence that this atrocity is probably very seriously happening. There are men who escaped these concentration camps, what are being called gay concentration camps. And the men who escaped said that in these rooms that they're being detained in, they're squeezing 15 to 30 prisoners. They're held without food. They're being tortured with electric shocks, and they're being beaten, sometimes beaten to death. Chechnya says this can't happen because there's no gay men in Chechnya.
Relatively speaking, I would say that Chechnya is certainly worse off than the rest of the Russian government when it comes to LGBT issues. But we know that Russia is no standard bearer for that as well, because even about a week or two ago, Vladimir Putin banned an image of him where he's depicted as a gay clown.
Yeah.
And that made a lot of headlines.
Yeah, I mean, Russia is by far not a panacea for the LGBTQ community with their recent legislation banning the promulgation of gay propaganda to minors. At least this is the type of language that they use. So there's a problem across the board. But when you consider the roots of the LGBT hatred in Chechnya, it's sad, but they actually make Russia look better.
And this is why we need to know if the Russians had any interference in our elections or had any prior agreement with the Trump campaign, because if this continues to go on and our own government doesn't say anything, that tacitly helps the Russian government.
Yeah, so this is a quote that I actually want to read, and it could give you a better insight into what's happening over there. A spokesperson for the leader who you see of Chechnya, who you see on your screen, Ramzan Kadyrov, forgive me, he said, the spokesperson for him said, you cannot detain and persecute people who simply do not exist in the republic. This type of language shows you what's coming from the leadership of Chechnya, what's in the culture of Chechnya. They're considered honor killings when they kill a gay person in Chechnya. It's such a stigma that families are broken apart if someone is found to be gay in their family. Like this is a stigma that doesn't just come politically, it comes from your family unit. It really has a very strong conservative religious dogma that makes it not only painful but dangerous to be LGBTQ.
And that was the latter part of his statement, right? That if someone comes out to be gay, it's an issue that is dealt with their families and their relatives.
Yeah. It's a fascinating and disturbing story to see that this is happening. Some people say that calling it concentration camps is a misnomer and that it shouldn't be called that. But whether we call it that or not, something needs to be done before it's allowed to escalate to that level.